What's up everyone, Grouper Games here, and I've pretty much decided that for all commentary videos like this one going forward, I'm going to do machinima with them. Because I feel like this is kind of a unique thing for me that not a whole lot of people do with their videos, so it'll help my videos like this one to stand out and kind of give my channel more of an identity, I guess, so just know that I'll be doing videos like this going forward. Anyway, I've expressed to my friends and on my community tab a lot in the past that I want to start doing music related content again, since at one point that was what this channel was, but then I unlisted those videos because they weren't very good. Anyway, because I decided I wanted to get back into doing this kind of content, there is one video idea that stuck out in my mind as we are nearing the end of 2024, and that is my favorite songs of the year. 2024 has been a really good year for a lot of my favorite bands. A lot of them put out albums, not as many as I'd like, but still a good few, and a whole lot of them put out new songs with albums coming out next year. So with that in mind, I decided it'd be better to count down my favorite songs of the year rather than albums. Keep in mind, I am pretty much a fan of exclusively metalcore and pop punk, so that is what this list will be dominated with, just so you know. Keep in mind too, this is my opinion. If you hate one of the songs that made this list, then I don't know what to tell you, it's just my opinion. Without further ado, actually all I have to say, hope you enjoy the video, and let's get started with number 10. Pop Evil were pretty much immediately one of my favorite modern radio rock bands from the first time I heard them, because they're not your run-of-the-mill radio rock band. They mix in a lot of other stuff. In particular, with their 2020 album Versatile, they really started to mix in kind of an industrial metalcore sort of sound into the mix, which I really liked, and that really came to fruition on their 2023 album Skeletons, which was my favorite album from last year. It's incredible, with songs like Dead Reckoning, which is the TOS Season 2 intro theme, Eye of the Storm, Paranoid, Crash and Burn, Circles, etc. There's a lot of good songs on that album. With that album, I was also very much looking forward to what the future would bring for them as they kind of continue to expand on this metalcore, alternative metal, industrial fusion sound. And lo and behold, their new single that came out this summer, What Remains, is absolutely amazing. The song starts off kind of low-key and atmospheric in its first verse, building to that explosive chorus, which is really great, leading into a more reflective sounding second verse and a really great bridge too. It's just a really great song that built on everything Skeletons did right. Their other single, Deathwalk, is great too, but this one I just kind of prefer. It's just kind of got a more classic Pop Evil vibe to it. Everything that I liked about Versatile and Skeletons is very much present in this song, and once again, like I said, it's really got me excited for the future of Pop Evil and what their new 2025 album is going to bring to us.
Brave new world, it's a brave new world. I'm already in so deep, and I've gotta get off my knees. Will I waste my life trying to get by when a miracle?
Bayside's new album that came out this year, There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive, was really disappointing for me. Don't get me wrong, the album itself is great, but the fact of the matter is it's just a combination of their two EPs that came out a couple years ago, as well as a couple of new songs, all of which were great, with such bangers as Castaway, The Devils, and of course, Miracle. This song is really great. Bayside have always been on the heavier side of pop punk, and this song, as well as The Devils, really exemplify that. There's no scream vocals or anything, but the song itself just has a really big, menacing vibe to it, if you ask me, with lyrics about somebody just kind of wasting away and ruining their own life, pretty much. It's a really fun listen despite that, though. I really do love the way the guitar tone and the instrumentation sounds on this song. It's not the most unique thing ever, and it's very, I guess, stereotypically Bayside, but Bayside is great, so that should be no surprise. I got into Bayside last year, and it was songs like this that kept me coming back to them, and so I'm glad to see they're still making music this good on this album. Like I said, I do wish the whole album had songs like this instead of just being the Red and Blue EPs smashed together, but again, those EPs were good, so the album itself that they put out this year, There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive, is still really good, just a little bit disappointing for me based on the fact that there's less new music than I would have wanted. Still though, this has to be my favorite song on the album, and I hope Bayside continue to make music this heavy and interesting going forward.
What's it gonna take? Maybe it's me. What's it gonna?
I'm gonna be honest, the new 4 Year Strong album, Analysis Paralysis, was not really for me. It just didn't really have that same edge to it that Enemy of the World or even their self-titled had that I really love, and Enemy of the World is one of my favorite albums of all time. It was okay, like I didn't dislike it or anything, but it was just a little bit too weird and experimental for me in some areas, and some of the songs didn't have that melody to catch me that a lot of their older material does. Maybe It's Me, though, is a great song. This song is super interesting. The instrumentation is just really unique. It's got a very strange sounding guitar tone, but it fits super well with the vibe of the song. Alan and Dan's vocals are great as always in this song. I love the way they work as these like dual vocalists, and they really bounce off each other super well. I think this song is mostly Alan, I want to say. I honestly get their names mixed up, but still, that's worth noting. I will say this song can be a little bit repetitive at times, but that doesn't really matter because every part of the song is great, and I just love listening to it. It's just a fun listen, and really that's what I have to praise about it above anything else. But it's also not your typical 4 Year Strong either, in that it strays away from the typical, like, pop-punk, easy-core roots of it and kind of gets a little bit more experimental with it, but in an interesting and fun way, like I said. I do wish the rest of Analysis Paralysis was this good, because while the album is still pretty decent, it's definitely not my favorite release from them yet, by far. I don't think anything is going to top Enemy of the World for me, but this album was good for what it was, and this song comes damn close to the quality of some of those great songs on that album.
You left me with a taste of the air. I must have hit a nerve and I said, can't you see you're so cold-blooded? You left me with a taste of the air. Sick of all bitterness. Can't you see you're so cold? You're so cold-blooded.
You know, I have to say, I was never a Real Friends fan at all. Like, they tend to get grouped in with bands I love, like A Day to Remember and even 4 Year Strong, but their brand of pop-punk has always just been way too mainstream for me, so I could never get into them. However, I was extremely pleasantly surprised with how much I loved their new album, Blue Hour. It's really great. It's their first full release with new vocalist Cody Morrow, who is amazing, and the standout track from this album is absolutely cold-blooded for me. This album really hits you in the feels, and this song is no exception to that, but it also keeps up the energy really well. Some of the tracks on this album kind of move the band in a more post-hardcore direction, especially tracks like this one and Never Has Become Always, but this one especially just really hit me right. I was kind of going through some stuff when Blue Hour came out, and so being an album that really relies on hitting you in the feels, it definitely caught me hook, line, and sinker, which, again, I was not expecting, and again, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I ended up liking it, and I'm still listening to some of the songs on repeat to this day, especially this one. I just love Cody's more aggressive, almost screamo, not quite screamo, but almost screamo vocals in this song. You can tell he's really angry about what he's singing about here, someone that just did him wrong, absolutely, most likely an ex-girlfriend or something. And yeah, the emotions are running high here, but like I said, the energy is kept up too. It's a great album, their best to date, and one of the best released this year too. For once, I'm actually excited to see what Real Friends put out next, because if they keep making music this good, I will finally be able to consider myself a fan.
Reach out and save me, rising from the ground. Higher and higher, stars can you see me? Angels, can you hear what I say to you? Defying gravity, leaving all behind me, rising from the ground.
Okay, so Ankor didn't put out my album of the year because they didn't put out an album this year, but they did put out my favorite release this year, which is their Shogunai EP, which consists of a bunch of songs they're putting out over the last 2 years called The Chapters, and every single one of them is amazing, from Prisoner to Stereo to Dark Beat, incredible songs, and this is the final chapter, and what a finale it is. This song, during the bridge, has references to every single one of the other chapters, and I just love hearing Jesse Williams bring back those melodies of the songs, like the I Don't Want to Be the One to Forget part of Prisoner and everything. It was really great to hear all that again, even though I still listen to those songs on repeat. It really did feel like a climax in that way. And even though this wasn't a full album, this is a great album closer for what it was. It feels very, very big and epic. They use kind of the semi-electronic elements, not a whole lot of elements like that, but they just use it just right to where it complements the metal sound of the song very well, and it just works for me really, really well. Ankor are a pretty small Spanish band, if you didn't know, and they are very, very underrated, especially for the quality of music they've been putting out for a while now. Their new stuff is absolutely incredible. Like I said, Shogunai has to be my favorite release this entire year. Even though most of the songs on it didn't come out this year, it still was really amazing. Do yourself a favor and check it out. And check this song out too, because it is a great climax to everything. That's really like the main thing I have to say about this song, is that it's just a really good climax. And I will say I do only like listen to this song when I'm in the mood for like a big epic song, which is what this is. But overall, it's great. So actually all I can say about it is that it's great, epic, climactic, and all that.
Life is gonna leave you quicker than you know. Slip right through your hands when you think you've got the rope. I've seen it. We're all just skin and bones.
You should have seen me when this song came out, and then a few weeks later we got Confession, with the announcement that Silverstein are putting out 2 albums in 2025, so I am officially super hyped. I love Silverstein. There's something about their songs and kind of the storytelling they sometimes incorporate in songs like A Better Place or A Great Fire, for example, that really hooks me. And Skin and Bones doesn't really have that element a whole lot, but still it's a really great Silverstein song overall. The bridge of this song especially has to be my absolute favorite part. These are the episodes that made us who we are. And who we were. I love that line so much. Just overall, the whole song is just very reflective, and even though it keeps up that post-hardcore energy that Silverstein are very much known for, it does definitely take a few minutes just to reflect on maybe the band's career, maybe the lives of the band members. It's just a reflective song. And if you can't tell based on that and what I said about Pop Evil earlier, I really do love kind of songs that make you reflect back a little bit and make you feel maybe even a little bit nostalgic. And this song definitely does make me nostalgic for the albums like A Shipwreck in the Sand or This Is How the Wind Shifts, which are my 2 favorite by Silverstein. And I'm hoping their new albums, Anti-Bloom and Pink Moon, are definitely going to be up there with some of my favorites. It was hard to choose between this and their other single, Confession, and while I do really love Confession, I just have to go with Skin and Bones, just because it's got that menacing riff, but it's also got that really uplifting and beautiful chorus and that amazing bridge too. Everything is on point in Skin and Bones. It's just your quintessential Silverstein masterpiece. It's great. It's another Silverstein banger, surprising no one.
But inside I know today's gonna be the day you notice, 'cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd, fire in the sunrise, ashes raining down. Try to hold it in, but it keeps bleeding out. This is what you asked for.
You know, I almost called Cold Blooded by Real Friends my most surprising release of the year because of how much I ended up liking it. However, to call that the most shocking release of the year would completely undermine the incredible return of Linkin Park. If you've been following me since my Solek Man days, you know I am a massive Linkin Park fan. They were the first band I ever got into, and the death of Chester Bennington absolutely gutted me. So when I found out they were coming back this year with the surprise announcement of the Emptiness machine, I was floored and so excited. But the Emptiness machine isn't the song that made this list. As great as that song is, I have to go with the second single they released for the album, Heavy as the Crown. This album is awesome, and this song is awesome too. The whole thing with their new album, From Zero, is that it's meant to represent each of their different eras, so different songs represent different albums. You have a song like Cut the Bridge, which sounds somewhat like Minutes to Midnight, or a song like Over Each Other, which represents the pop nature of One More Light. And then you have this song, which represents the amazing new metal alternative rock hybrid that is Meteora. While Meteora isn't my favorite Linkin Park album, it is number 2, and this song represents it very, very well. New vocalist Emily Armstrong is giving it her all in this song, coming out with a 17-second scream reminiscent of Chester Bennington's Given Up scream in her second ever song with the band, which is just awesome, and massive respect for that. I know there's a lot of controversy about the new Linkin Park, and some people are in love with it, some people aren't, but I gotta tell you, man, as a longtime fan, I was sold from day one, and this song is a big reason why, along with the Emptiness Machine. The whole album, I think, turned out pretty dang good. Even if it isn't their best work, I don't think it was ever going to be, considering the circumstances around it. But I'm just shocked and very, very glad that one song this good is on it. And this isn't even the only good song on the album. Talk about Cut the Bridge, The Emptiness Machine, Stain, Good Things Go. All fantastic. I highly recommend you at least give the new Linkin Park album a chance. And I almost guarantee you, even if you don't like most of the album, if you're a longtime fan, you will like this song. I know I did. On to the top three now, starting off with our bronze medal winner, Going Under, by The Ghost Inside. I owe The Ghost Inside a lot. They are one of the most uplifting and inspirational bands I've ever known, especially with the incredible story behind their comeback after their terrible 2016 accident. Their album Dear Youth, which came out shortly before that accident, has really done a lot for me. It's one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time, if not top 5. The 2020 album, their self-titled, was a great follow-up to it too. That said, I wasn't really super excited for their new album, Searching for Solace. I kind of felt like the singles they released for it, for the most part, were just kind of bland. Then the actual album came out, and I was shocked by how good a lot of the album tracks were, like Breathless, Cityscapes, and Secrets, which are songs that really pulled me in. But none pulled me in quite like Going Under. This song is amazing. It's your quintessential Ghost Inside song, pretty much. Maybe not as heavy as some people would like, but I'm okay with that. Jonathan Vigil's vocals in this chorus are so fantastic. I love the way he just so smoothly, I guess, sings Nothing Is What It Seems and everything. It's really got a nice message behind the song, just telling you to keep going and to not give up. And that's pretty much what the Ghost Inside are all about saying, is that exact message. Every single one of their songs says that in one way or another, and I really appreciate that. They're a band I always go to when I'm in need of some inspiration or motivation, and this song can go right among other tracks like Mercy with the Wolves, and of course my favorite song of all time, Phoenix Rise, from their self-titled album. Going Under is fantastic. I don't really know what more to say about it, honestly. And I'm honestly surprised it was an album cut. This deserved to be a single, and I think if this had been a single rather than the actual singles they put out, maybe I'd have been more hyped for the album. The album did pleasantly surprise me though, like I said. I'm not sure it's one of my favorite of the year, but it's still really solid, and I'm excited to see where the Ghost Inside go next. Hopefully more stuff like this lies in wait.
Americanized, left you wondering why I built my house on sand, hoping it would stand the storms that come my way. And now I'm left to face the weight of my mistakes and a chance to start again.
Wow. Okay. So, similar to Real Friends, Nothing More never really wrote me in. I always liked them, unlike Real Friends. I thought they had a really unique sound to them, and their self-titled album and The Stories We Tell Ourselves are pretty great, but they just never really had that thing to draw me in. I always felt like they were missing something. What were they missing, you might ask? Metalcore, apparently, because that's what they're seeming to be making now. I won't lie, I was really excited for their new album, Carnal, and I was pretty disappointed by it. I just felt it was a little bit softer than I thought it would be. But that said, the opening track, House on Sand, remains an absolute favorite of mine, and I'd go as far to say it's their best song to date. This song is awesome. It's not like the heaviest song ever, don't think that, but it is one of their heaviest ever because it features the screamer from I Prevail, Eric Von Blers. Dude, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I do not like I Prevail. I used to like them, but then they kind of went a little bit too pop for me, so I just kind of stopped listening to them. But Eric is featured in quite a few songs by artists I like, and he's always a nice guy to hear. He's got a pretty good scream to him. He fits this song very well. What elevates this song above all else is that incredible chorus as sung by Johnny Hawkins. Regardless of whatever allegations have been made toward this band, which I'm not very educated about, I still think this guy is a pretty great singer for what it's worth. And his vocals in this chorus are just fantastic and really elevate this song to the next level. That chorus is so catchy, especially with the Build My Life Again chant part in it. It's just really great. And then you have that breakdown with Eric and everything that really sells to complete the song. It's really, really good. I do wish the whole album sounded more like this, but for what it is, I was floored when Nothing More came out with this, because it wasn't just another Nothing More song. It was something better, and it was something special. This is probably going to remain my favorite song by them for a good long while, and it came damn close to topping this list. But given what my number one choice is, there was no way this was ever going to top my number one pick, which is... Look, man, like I said earlier, it should come as no surprise that I love metalcore. It's my favorite genre through and through. But I'm gonna be honest, it's been very, very stagnated lately. I feel like a lot of my favorite bands are just kind of starting to have the same sound, and they all sound the same to me lately. Even my beloved A Day to Remember has been putting out singles like Miracle and Feedback, which aren't bad, but don't sound special at all. I was really hoping for something new and fresh to come out of metalcore this year, and lo and behold, as they always do, Boys of Fall had my back. Boys of Fall are a pretty small band, but they are so excellent. They are, and for all intents and purposes, a modern day A Day to Remember. Similar to ADTR, they blend the pop punk and metalcore routine, and they do it so seamlessly, along with a little bit of extra emo pop on the side, and it sounds amazing. But it should be no surprise that my loyalties lie with their metalcore side. And that's why Stray is topping this list. The day this song came out, I had to listen to it on repeat about 10 times. I was floored. This is everything I want from modern metalcore. It's got everything I love: the screamed verses, the big, larger-than-life, clean chorus, and the incredible breakdown at the end. But it has something more than that. This song is special. The riff is unlike no metalcore riff I've ever heard before. It reminds me of, I don't know, mainstream rock, but in a way that lets me get into it and really appreciate the vibe of the song more. It's also got your traditional Boys of Fall, super smooth guitar licks, and that breakdown especially. My gosh! Metalcore breakdowns tend to get pretty formulaic the more bands you listen to. More and more of them start to have the same kind of breakdowns that just have the few same notes repeated again, and they're nothing too special, even if they are easy to get into and fun to headbang to. This song, though, presents something new in its breakdown, with Mike Martinson's amazing scream vocals and everything. I'm pretty sure Mike Martinson does the scream vocals in this band. Dude, I don't remember, I'm not gonna lie. But the point is, the vocals, that amazing breakdown riff, everything about it just comes together to form such an excellent and cohesive metalcore song. It was hard to choose between this and their other songs, Defamation and Chemicals, for my number one spot, because those tracks are easily 2 and 3. Boys of Fall's new self-titled album might not be my favorite release this year, since I'm pretty sure Ankor probably tops it, but it's definitely my album of the year through and through. I think it's their best work yet, and it does such a perfect job of combining their metalcore with their pop punk and even with their emo pop too. It flows so well. Please give the new Boys of Fall record a chance, and at the very least give Stray 3 minutes of your time. If you like metalcore and you've been jaded on how similar bands have started to sound these days, you need to give this song a chance. I really do think you can appreciate it. This has to be my favorite song of the year, and my favorite song by Boys of Fall thus far, and honestly, one of the best metalcore songs I've ever heard. It's fantastic. I haven't even touched on the lyrics, which are extremely creative and use big-ass words like ameliorate. Like, when have you ever heard that in a metalcore song before? Just absolutely breathtaking. This song floored me when I first heard it. It's continuing to floor me on every listen, and I really have not kept it out of the rotation at all since first hearing it. And that's it. That is my top 10 favorite songs of 2024, and there will be a few honorable mentions in the description below. Like I said, I don't think I said this actually, but I did limit this to one song per band, because if not, almost the whole list would have been Boys of Fall self-titled, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this somewhat different video. I'm not anticipating it doing super well since it's not about Bionicle or anything, and that's fine, but I hope you all can appreciate that I'm going to try some different content, and I'm not just going to be posting the same, TOS stuff over and over, even though I love doing that. I've had a lot of fun doing videos like this one, the iceberg, and more of that, so you can expect more of this going forward, and I hope you're okay with that. People seem to be, so that's cool. These videos don't take anywhere near as long to do as TOS episodes, so they're very fun side projects for me to do. Anyway, I really hope you can enjoy these songs if you want to check them out. I think all 10 of these songs are really incredible releases, and there are even more great releases this year. Like, I didn't even mention Toxic by yours truly, which is a great album that just didn't have many standout tracks. And there's a lot more great releases that came out this year too that I definitely think you should listen to. If you have any recommendations for me, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to check them out. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed my top 10 favorite songs of 2024. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever and whenever that may be.